Welcome to another product review on my channel. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome, come on in, pull up a chair. We like to talk a lot on this channel and talk a lot about value-driven decisions and dollar cents. Given my background as a business lawyer with my own law firm, it's something I can't help but doing. But we also love ourselves some luxury on this channel. So every product I've ever reviewed, every, five-star hotel, every car video, including buying my first Rolls Royce, all the content on this channel is luxury driven in one way or another. As the title, of course, indicates, the products we're reviewing in today's video are children's clothing by the brand Pehr, P-E-H-R. I believe it's a Canadian brand, although I know now they ship in other countries, including the US. And Pehr, of course, the brand that has everything organic cotton, really good quality. All of that. We're going to talk about it. I have a lot of items to go over in today's video, like at least 10-15 items. Hopefully we can get through it all. But if you've been considering, changing your baby's attire, or you're so bored of everything that's out there, or whatever brought you to this channel, I welcome you. Let's talk. I have two boxes here. One that I've already torn open because I'm a savage animal. And the other one that's quite heavy. So we certainly have lots of goods to talk about. And maybe we should start with why I even consider this a luxury brand to begin with, because you might be like, well, Pam, you have, videos on this channel talking about like $10,000 night hotels, talking about like Michelin star restaurants. Why is this a luxury brand? Why is Pehr a luxury brand? Nothing here costs even close to $1,000. Let me tell you, when you've seen it all, I can tell you what makes Pehr a luxury brand for me is that the quality of materials is really, really, really high. You can have far more inferior materials that are getting a designer brand slapped on them. But that, as a business person, as a educated business person, doesn't make me feel good about, the luxury that my children are dressed in. For example, low quality shirt with a plastic logo sewn onto it or melted onto it is not going to make me feel good about what my child is wearing. A clean, fairly constructed, well structured, so it's going to hold, piece of clothing is something that I attribute luxury to, because my child is wearing the cleanest product they can within that certain product category. And that speaks to health, that speaks to lifestyle, that speaks to all these other segments that of course are impacted and bettered by true luxury. When it comes to Pehr, I can also say that the proof is in the pudding. You might buy your child like 20 onesies from Oshkosh, Carter's, Costco, whatever, like the more basic stores, where we're talking about volume, right? That's a volume game. And those onesies are going to stain, they're not going to wash off. They're going to rip, they're going to pull, they're going to weaken, the buttons will pop off. Believe me, been there, done that. But let's say a onesie is like $5 and you're like, oh my God, that's so cheap for a onesie, okay? So let's talk value. I told you guys I like to talk value on my channel. I can't help it. As somebody that has, built everything I have and everything my family has off my own back, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my keen understanding of value in part. So, you find a $5 onesie, you find a $10 onesie, and you buy 20 of them, you buy 30 of them. How much are 30 $10 onesies? $300. Plus a juicy tax if you're watching in Canada. But okay, $300. Pehr onesies, so price point wise, to a $5 or $10 onesie you'll find at Old Navy or the Gap or Costco per unit kind of thing. So Pehr, when they first started, and they've dropped their prices with time, so that's, I guess, good news, makes it more accessible. When they first started, I remember like the cheapest Pehr onesie that I had for my kids was between $60 to $90. So let's average it out to like $75, $80, okay? An $80 onesie, yeah, that is, 16 times, 1,600% more expensive than the $5 onesie. But you want to know how many onesies, each of my children got through each of, I like to call them like trimesters kind of thing, because that's how the clothes are designed for most children's brand, like 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9, and so on and so forth. You know how many they used 2 or 3 Pehr onesies for each of those life segments. 2 or 3. So times the 80 we use as a benchmark, we're talking $160 to $240. They wash incredibly. The nastiest, filthiest stain comes off and looks brand new the next day. And they're really well structured. 2 or 3, okay? You know how much it cost me, you know, when I had my first child and I was so goddamn poor that, you know, like the Old Navy was something that I would go and not even buy the main Old Navy stuff. I'd have to get like the Old Navy clearance, the $5 stuff. But I bought like 20 or 30 or 40 of those freaking onesies. That added up to hundreds. What was the better value? 20, 30, 40 pieces of junk? No, it was, you know, as obviously I upped my success and my money and my family's lifestyle and all that. This is the better stuff. So that's where the luxury bit is coming from, just so you know. Okay, we're gonna look at the product. I told you guys I have a lot of product here. One thing about Pehr that is also, you know, an indirect way of looking at value, but it's something I believe in, because their clothing is primarily gender neutral. Like there's like the odd thing with frills on it that's obviously girly, but you have to be intentional about buying that. Because their product is mainly gender neutral, it takes away so much time in the morning trying to wonder, you know, who's wearing what. You know, your girl children can wear the blue, your boy children can wear the pink. The colors are so light and subdued. They are not like garish, cheap, tacky, you know, weird stuff. It is, you know, very calmed, classy colors. So anybody can wear anything. And if you're a mom of children of like different genders, that's going to save you a lot of time in the morning. Okay, so let's start with, well, the thing my children already torn to. So again, don't read into the colors. Like this isn't necessarily for a girl. The blue isn't necessarily for a boy. Look at the quality. These were PJs, excellent quality, excellent cotton. I wish you could touch this. You know, like there's on the thinner cottons, when you touch them, your fingers kind of like touch on the other side of the fabric. My fingers don't feel each other rubbing this. That's how thick it is. So this is like a simple PJ outfit that my kids actually wore today for their like Christmas Santa situation. So that's the light pink version. This is the light blue, maybe kind of green. I don't know. I have some studio lights in here, so maybe you tell me what color this is. But this is the same product because I like it so much. I buy a lot of them, okay? I ended up buying like 5 pairs of these PJs. And no, I don't have 5 kids, but I bought 5 pairs of these PJs because of the construction. Okay, we get it. So I'll spare you another PJ again. Here is, let's open this one together. This is a onesie. And again, look at what I was telling you about gender neutrality, not from a political perspective, but from the perspective of making your life easier and dressing the kids. So this is a onesie. And what's the design on it? It's like buildings, your neighborhood, right? Any freaking child could wear this. If you believe in the children's colors, you have the red and the pink, so a girl could pull it off. You've got the blues and the greens, so a boy could pull it off. Anybody could wear this. The construction is amazing. I cannot tell you how good this feels in your hand, but more than that, how well they hold up in the wash. This feels in the equivalent that my children have had for like months or maybe even a year or so now. This feels as stiff on its 50th wash as it does on its first wash. Not this particular one, but I have exact other ones with different designs on them. You know, they have the buttons, which super helpful. I hate onesies with zippers on them. Not a fan. Unless they're like outerwear jackets kind of thing where you need to pull everything together and there's so much pressure on the jacket from all the layers underneath that otherwise if it was buttoned it would like pull like that. Jackets, you know, you make an exception, they have zippers. But this is all buttoned, you know, down here too, so that if something happens down there, you just address that area. You don't need to, you know, unzip the whole thing, take the whole onesie off. Inefficiency, my time is valuable. If I'm zipping it, I'm spending, you know, multiple times more time I found than if I'm just getting to the one part I really need to if your child, you know, dirties their diaper. But keep in mind, Pehr sells this for like up to 5 or 6 years old. So you can reteach it as well. Okay, we have this one. What is this called? They're called Romper is the name they gave it. And the color, I'm realizing, because it's a mix of like green and blue technically, I think, it's called the Soft Sea. So let's open them together. Okay, this is, again, you know, buttons. Your child, buttons. So the area that your child gets to, you unbutton that area. I don't know if you can tell, again, speaking to the structure of these products, like, can you tell that this is not, look at that. The fabric is standing up on its own, right? It's not the kind, I mean, this is a linen shirt, so it's not a good example. And no, it's not a cheap shirt, but just by way of material, you know, like there's the cottons that you can do this to them. This is not that. This cotton stands up. They are very well structured pieces of clothing. Pockets on kids' clothes crack me up. They're not carrying anything, but that's another one. Okay, another onesie. And again, I think these go up to like 5 or 6 years. Like they go up to like older than you think. This is not like a 0 to 3 month onesie kind of thing. Another onesie. Oh, this feels so thick and so good in my hand. Like maybe it's my own like PTSD to what I was going through when I was at such a poor, such a vulnerable reason in my life. Like I wasn't poor because I was poor, right? Like that's not how that story goes. You're poor because other things in your life have gone wrong. Other very, you know, important systemic building blocks of your life have gone in the wrong direction. So it's not necessarily, although they've literally done studies that like poverty is a form of trauma, but it's not that the poverty is the thing in and of itself. It's everything else that led to it and everything else that the poverty itself leads to, okay? So as successful as I am now, like those are times in your life you don't forget. And part of what keeps me successful is having hit, you know, rock bottom so profoundly. So again, I don't take for granted, like I'm not sitting here being like, you know, can I afford to put my children in Gucci and Prada? Yeah, but this is better for all the business and value reasons I talked to you at the beginning, except for like maybe a weird, like a specific photo shoot or something like that, where it might need to be a certain brand. I don't know. But, you know, keep in mind that to me as a business person, I look at this like $60 onesie or whatever it costs. It doesn't say the price on it. And I'm like, this compared to the $5 one is 12 times more. It's 1,200% more expensive than, you know, what I used to afford years ago. 1,200. Think of whatever thing you can think of in your life that if it went up 1,200% in price, you wouldn't tell me, you know, that's not a luxury price point now. Even the cheapest thing, right? So this, again, completely gender neutral. Like who the hell cares if your daughter wore this to school, but it's your son's, or if your son wore this to school and it's your daughter's. It's a mushroom onesie. You'll be okay. They'll be okay. And you save time. Again, buttons all the way. Love that. Buttons all the way. I love that. Okay. We have more. I told you, get ready. We have more. So their vests are like the cutest little things. You put your children in these, they automatically look like diplomats. Gender neutral, okay? I have this vest in almost every color. Same with the Pehr blazer. You'll see on their website, they have like a blazer product. I have that freaking blazer, pink, yellow, blue, green, whatever color it came in, I have it in. So this little vest, buttoned as well. The cutest. And obviously as moms, you know, or dads, or whoever, you know, caregiver, whoever you are watching this video, you know that that vest is like that in-between piece. You know, if it's a little extra chilly, you pop this on under the big jacket. Or if it's not chilly enough for the big jacket, you pop this on in and of itself. Vests, as dweeby as they look to us as kids, are actually really versatile. Okay, here's another one. You're going to notice again, gender freaking neutral. You might have your own like perfect colors in mind for your daughter or for your son. But again, this is not a product that if your daughter wore, you'd be like, oh, that's your brother's. Or if your son you'd be like, what are you doing wearing your sister's clothes? This is also gender neutral. What is this product called? Bunting suit. Okay. I cannot. The thickness of this, these are insanely thick in and of themselves compared to what else is on the market, compared to the 99% of floods the market. And then the thickness of this, amazing. And I told you already, my one exception for zippers is like if it's an outer piece, because it's just more practical at keeping the child together than buttons. And I mean, when we're talking about outer pieces, we're also talking about a level of cold. So we don't want the opening like that and all the cold wind goes in. Okay, So that is box number 1. This stuff all looks, to me, taste is subjective, and feels delicious. Now, let's do box number 2. You can probably tell that box number 2 is from the exact same place because they're the exact same shape and size. But admittedly, box number 2, I used it for like storage of other things. This one sat on the floor for a really long time. I actually didn't even buy them at the same time. I bought them months apart. Okay, more onesies. We have here a ducky onesie, and this I think is called, what do they call this one? Okay, now it just says 3-piece set because I bought it as part of a 3-piece set. But I think on its own, this is referred to as like their kimono product. I love this product. And look at the intelligence, the brain power that goes behind this. So we have the little tie here that keeps it together. We have the buttons I just unbuttoned, and you know what else we have? Because these buttons on their own, just for the outside, would do what to the internal flap? It would just crunch together and could honestly become like, a safety risk insofar as it like bundles extra on where your child's stomach is, and then they breathe a little harder because it's like, like how would you sleep if I put a rolled up sock under your gut at night? You would feel it. So to prevent that from happening, there are more ties inside to keep the internal flap in place, and then we do the external. Love. That little bit of intelligence goes a really long way. Matching pants, ducks, I don't know, do we assign a gender to ducks? I don't know. I'm pretty busy in my life, so I don't spend much time wondering if ducks are for boys or for girls. But as far as I'm concerned, a yellow pant is gender neutral. You Google, boys raincoats or rain boots, you're gonna find the classic yellow ones. You Google, girls colors and dresses and stuff, you're gonna find them wearing yellow as well. Gender neutral saves me a lot of headache. And if that term, if you don't like that term, you could substitute, like, the point being, it is not obviously a woman or man's item or a boy or girl's item. This one, the pattern on this is like a little quilt, the quilt squares. Is this obviously a girl's outfit? No, not to me. Is it obviously a boy's outfit? No. Is it, cozy and structured and organic cotton and amazing quality? Yep, so I'm putting it on my kids. And then the last thing I have, are you still there? The last thing I have is this like Star Night onesie, which, I guess there's some like pink or burgundy on there, but it's also freaking pajamas, so any of my kids can wear that to bed. Thank you for watching this video. If you had considered buying Pehr in the past, oh my god, I feel like I feel like I really sold it, but then the funny thing is, I have nothing to sell you. This video was not sponsored, it's not affiliated, it's none of that. Believe me, Pehr, if you're watching, reach out. I could always use some more goodies, and clearly I'm a fan. But there's none of that going on. This was just genuine, I remember watching one, Shark Tank, I think, the US version. In Canada, it's called Dragon's Den. And this mom had created, I don't remember the exact product, but I know it was a baby product. It could have been like a Better Smarter diaper, Better Smarter bottle, something like that. And they asked her, why did you start this? And she said something to the effect of, I remember looking at my husband for all the money we spent on all these baby products, and he would ask me like, where did the money go? And she said she would just break down and cry and say, in the trash. Because the cheap onesies would rip, the cheap diapers pop off, the cheap bottles break, or the plastic tip, gets torn into. The cheap stuff goes into the garbage. And you don't know that until you know that, and you don't feel that until you feel that. But Pehr has been a game changer for me, and I'm thankful it's an option on the market now because the brand is relatively new. So what did you think? So with that being said, let me know your thoughts. Have you bought Pehr products for your kids? What do you think about it? Is it something you would buy after watching this review? Of course, give this video a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see you next week for more luxury content. There's different content every week, right? Just like life has different moments every day. Sometimes it's skincare, sometimes it's travel, sometimes it's clothing, whatever it is, but it's always luxury, and we always talk value, and we always talk real life in our videos. So thank you for watching.